All right, everybody, Friday the 13th. Hopefully you're out there being safe, taking care of yourselves. Take a quick look at the numbers. We're over 135,000 cases worldwide, approaching 5,000 deaths, and 70,407 recovered. Just take a quick look at the numbers by country. Italy exploding, Iran exploding, South Korea maybe tapering off, but it looks like the US might be picking up a little bit. And just like yesterday, Europe looks like it's going to be having a lot of flashpoints. Norway, Denmark, Switzerland, Amsterdam, Austria, go on and on and on, right? It looks like Europe is going to have potential for some epicenters. Obviously, we already have Italy. And it looks like in the weeks ahead, there may be a few more of these countries that end up getting into that territory like South Korea and Italy and Iran, and perhaps even the US gets there, even with all the cancellations we've seen of our sporting events and everything. But I want to show you something real quick. So what I wanted to show you was an NBC article. This is something I always thought, my cynical nature being what it is, the human nature of individuals. So first of all, this article talks about the stock market. I figure even if you haven't been trying to pay attention, you've heard about it somehow on the news. Market's been getting hammered this week, last week, and I can't recall if it was the week before, but regardless, the Dow went from 29,000, which was a record high, all the way down to about 21,000 right now, and they say it's entering bear market territory. I don't give financial advice except to my friends, but I hope that you guys are okay with your financial situations. I hope this isn't causing you too much of a disruption with your 401ks, your mutual funds, company stock, whatever you have. Hopefully a lot of you were able to get out ahead of it. I was able to. Fortunately, I didn't know. Like I said in my video about a week or two ago, I didn't know. It's not like I knew. I just felt like it was the time to get out. And that was about 2 weeks ago. And that was right before it crashed and fell off the cliff. Count my blessings every day, for sure. But you never know. We could be sitting here in a month or two and it could be headed back in the right direction. So regardless, hopefully this isn't causing too much of a financial strain for all of you. And this is the thing right here that I wanted to talk about. Like I said, the nature of people. This is my concern. Not so much the virus itself, but the greedy nature of individuals. So JetBlue, passenger who didn't tell airline test was pending is now banned. JetBlue said Thursday that a passenger who arrived at a Florida airport reportedly as a positive coronavirus case didn't tell anyone at the airline that a test was pending. The airline identified the plane that landed Wednesday evening as Flight 253. That is the plane that NBC affiliate WPTV of West Palm Beach reported landed at Palm Beach International Airport from JFK in New York, with a passenger who tested positive for COVID-19. That person is isolated, and people who were near the passenger are being asked to self-monitor for symptoms. I'll leave the rest of the article up there. You guys can kind of finish this while I'm yammering on, or you can kind of pause the screen. But this is kind of the disheartening nature of it all. This is what I always talk about with cowardice. That's why I want you all to be safe out there and not get into these situations, if possible. It's greed. Cowardice and greed is what I would say. You have an individual who's been tested, knowing they have a test pending, and most likely had the symptoms, which is why they got the test to begin with, decides to board a plane anyway. Can you imagine that? You're out there just doing your thing, minding your own business, taking your precautions. Same thing as like when you go to the store and other things you might need to do to keep your refrigerator stocked up in these times. You've done everything you need to do. You're doing your yoga, your spiritual wellness, your prayers, your vitamins, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, and you're trying to take care of your community and those around you. And then you have this piece of shit who comes out here knowing full well that they have a test pending, and they come right on the plane, and guess what? Sitting right next to you. Oh, so sorry, so sorry. That's a piece of shit right there. That's a greedy motherfucker. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You can have these soft quarantines and, oh, take these precautions. If you feel sick, stay inside, stay home. But who's really going to follow these things? Not this asshole, right? So what do you know? Next thing you know, what? 3 people have it, 5 people have it, 10, 20, and they just branch out from there. Just because one person was so greedy that they couldn't just wait. They couldn't wait on this flight. They just had to get down to Florida. Don't get me wrong, I love Florida, and especially SoFla. Come on now. People, you gotta stop. You gotta think about your fellow Americans when it comes to this. And the same is true for people overseas. Think about your fellow countrymen and people around the globe. If you have these symptoms, you gotta stay home. Come on now. Now this brings me to what I wanted to talk about for the day. Just some things that I've seen out there when I've been out shopping, and I'm just doing normal shopping. Hey, maybe I picked up an extra thing of pasta or an extra can of beans, but shh. Individuals, they're out there. I was at Home Depot, actually needed some painting supplies. There was a guy, he was looking for the respirator masks. And when they didn't have them, he starts throwing a little baby tantrum. Like, what do you expect people to do? What do you expect that worker to do? What do you expect her to do? It's not her fault there aren't any more. Everybody had the same idea you had. Everybody thought for some reason that a mask would be the thing. Toilet paper, same thing. I talked about that several days ago, and I've seen it in other places too. They're getting angry with workers at these businesses that there isn't toilet paper. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's like, what'd you expect? What do you want them to do about it? If something's not on the shelf, it's not their fault. So why harass some person who's out there just trying to do their job? That's what I would just say is just, and I've said this many times, when you're out there, don't be one of those jackasses. Try to keep your cool. Make sure you're not putting yourself in situations around this jack off like you see here on this JetBlue flight. Coronavirus is going to come. It's going to come here. It's already here. It's going to come down where I live. Maybe I get it. Apparently the odds are pretty likely that I get it, that you get it. Hopefully what I'm doing, trying to keep my immune system up, trying to rest, stay healthy. Hopefully that stuff works for me and hopefully it works for you too. But the fear, the cowardice in people, the selfishness, that's what's going to cause a lot of problems. This idiot right here, imagine the damage he could have done or may have done that we won't find out about for a week or two. Again, just my hope is for all of you just to be safe out there and just don't be in a situation where you end up next to this guy on the plane or you end up like that guy. Right? Just don't do that to people, please. I mean, I know it's hard, you know, you've got to be places, we can't all just stay home from work for 5 months till all of this passes, but I just hope that people have some care for their fellow man, woman, child, countryman, neighbor, and when times get tough, that you don't go out, behave like a fool out in public, fight over stupid stuff, and you don't put people in bad situations by going on planes when you're sick. So that's what I got for today. Hopefully you all are doing well out there. Stock up on a couple of the little basic necessities, just enough to get you through a couple weeks if you have to be quarantined. You know, a little bit of food, a little bit of water here and there. Don't overdo it, of course. But just, again, be safe out there and just take precautions, everybody. And don't be like this idiot at JetBlue, please. Friday the 13th, everybody. Take it easy out there and have a good weekend.